Hey y'all, I'm Karen Mayer Cunningham, the special education boss. If you've ever felt confused, overwhelmed, or just plain frustrated at the 504 IEP table, you are in the right place. Every week, I'm breaking down the rules, the rights, and the realities of special education so you can walk into meetings informed, empowered, and ready to make real change. And whether you're a parent, a teacher, an advocate, a school-based member, or somebody who's just trying to do right by a student, this podcast gives you straight talk, real answers, and tools that you can use immediately. I'm not here to play politics. I'm not here to play sides. I'm here to train people who sit at the table and teach you how to follow the law, ask the right questions, and protect the rights of students. So go ahead and hit subscribe, share this with a friend, and you know what? Meet me back here every single week. We're not just talking about change. We're making it. Because when you know better, you do better. And when we get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody. So welcome to Tales from the Epic IEP. If we haven't met him, Mayer Cunningham, special education boss, hang on. This one's going to be a little bit longer, but it's so worth it. Where we're going to bring you stories that are funny, frustrating, and fantastic as we serve kids with the IEP. And so I was in a meeting, and I prepare for meetings, and I really do assume that we are going to get in there. We will all share our information, and based upon that information, we'll kind of see the information the same way, and we'll write an Epic IEP for the student to have successful student outcomes. It doesn't always work that way. And sometimes I'm prepared, but I'm never prepared for what somebody is going to say. And so we were in a meeting. Student is greatly impacted by the comorbidities of his disabilities. The district has brought in an attorney. They brought in the director, the special education director, the international director of greatness. I don't even know who all these people are. And we were simply asking for the student to have access to the campus, access to the playground, and be able to participate based upon his unique circumstances of his disability. And the student has a physical abnormality, and we were discussing that with the school, which causes him to not be very stable when he walks, and he doesn't have any arms. His hands grow out of his chest based upon his medical condition. So I'm sort of explaining this to the school. You know, he's learning to walk. He wears a little helmet. You're going to need somebody in proximity of him. And they just weren't having it. They were not having it. And they were making it really unpleasant for the parent at the meeting. And so finally, I said, he needs a paraprofessional. And they were like, why? I said, because, he's learning to walk and he needs that. And she said, well, how often will he be walking? What do you mean? How often will he be walking? I mean, we have a little strap for him in the chair. Why would he walk? Because he's a walker. He walks. He's learning to walk. And so the attorney said, until he is able to prove that he is stable, he will have to stay in that chair, stay in a stroller, or stay attached to a gait belt. And I said, well, good news. You don't have to worry about that. He's 3. He doesn't have any arms. When he's 50, he probably will not be able to prove that he is stable. And we go back and forth and back and forth. And she finally said, in all of her frustration, and this is the key, right? If you ever let people finish talking, which is why I always say to schools, why don't you let the parents just finish? Just let people finish, right? Because when people speak, you can hear and know where they are, right? And the attorney said, on behalf of the school district, based upon his disabilities, and we were asking for the playground to be ADA compliant. And she said, based upon his disabilities, I don't even know if ADA is a consideration for him. What? And so listen to people at the meeting. They will tell you exactly what they believe to be true. Now, when we get in meetings, there's an attorney. How many of you guys think the school district attorney is the law of the land, is the sheriff of special education? How many of you think that a school district attorney would tell you something that's not true to the school district? I would lean into that. If it's true, it will be borne out where? In the law, right? And I direct you guys all the time to the law. If it's the truth, it will be in here. If it's the truth about what she said for ADA, it would be on the ADA's website. And I want you to learn to use your critical thinking. I haven't worked for a business in a very long time, and schools are a very big business. Think about who you're following. Think about who is training you. Think about who is equipping you with knowledge and access so you can be the most amazing paraprofessional there is, the most amazing diagnostician there is, the most amazing adaptive physical education teacher there is. think about who is training you and think about their training. So while we all know I'm not a college graduate, I'm not a quitter either. I've dropped out of a lot of colleges. I am self-taught, and I have learned over the last 29 years that the law, the letter of the law, the spirit of the law, so that you can help continue to have kids have successful student outcomes. I think one of the things that's most polarizing between parents and advocates and schools is that often school-based members believe and would pass a lie detector test that everything the school has told them up until that moment has been the absolute truth. And I wish it was. I really wish it was. But sometimes we've had leadership in schools that told you information that was not accurate. Sometimes they knew it wasn't accurate, and sometimes they didn't know it wasn't accurate. But because they were your boss and they articulated it passionately, you believed it passionately, I want you to use your critical thinking. If it is the law, you can find that out from your state education agency, from your Department of Education agency. But I want you to start thinking for yourself, finding out the information for yourself so that you, however you sit at the IEP table, whatever kind of stakeholder you are, that you know that you are doing things based upon facts and requirements. That's all we're ever asking as great advocates, that we make decisions based on facts and accurate information. And when we do that, kiddos win at the highest level. And my mission statement is not just a mission statement. When we get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody. And let's keep doing that. You guys go out and get the Epic IEP. It's going to change your life. And give it to somebody that needs it. Give it to a parent. Give it to a teacher, because we know that schools are doing their very best to serve kiddos. And we want you to have the information that changes kids' lives. Thank you for being there. Thank you for watching these. And we'll see you guys in the next training. Hit subscribe, share this with a friend, and you know what? Meet me back here every single week. We're not just talking about change, we're making it. Because when you know better, you do better. And when we get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody.